Sports Video Group is coming to you from the 2022 MLB All-Star Week. Brandon Costa from Sports Video Group, thrilled to be here. Nice and cool in the air conditioning and the ESPN trailers out in the production compound. We're in Los Angeles. We're here with Phil Orlins from ESPN. Phil, wonderful to see you, sir. How you doing? Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, Brandon. It's great to be here, and always love to be here for Home Run Derby. Thank you.
Yeah, big weekend in general. You had the MLB draft on Sunday evening, the Home Run Derby on Monday evening, perhaps one of the more, if not the most fun date on the baseball calendar throughout the years. And we talked to a few people here in the ESPN compound, and that's kind of the universal feel is this is such a fun event to do because it's so different from the regular baseball game, and players show their personalities. What does it mean for you guys as a company to continue to showcase this event year in and year out?
Well, I think it's special for us. It's been special to see the event grow and grow with the event. And I mean, speaking on behalf of ESPN and personally, this is something that has a history that goes back to the 1980s and was never televised until 1993. It started as 30 minutes on tape, became 60 minutes on tape, and eventually went live the year we went to Denver, which I think was 1997, if I have my years, maybe 98. So to have been part of the growth of it from when it was sort of an afterthought sideshow to the All-Star game to where it's become, a real tentpole feature event, expensive tickets, huge ratings, great energy, crowd completely invested and fired up. And I really don't know that, outside of like great postseason games, you really ever have anything else where the crowd is this electric and into it. And frankly, anytime somebody asks us if it's maybe too long or used to be too long, my stock answer is if the crowd starts leaving before the end, we'll know for sure it's too long. But it doesn't happen on this event, and I don't think you can say that necessarily about every baseball event out there. So. Yeah. It's a good thing. So.
Well, this year's broadcast, much like last year, going to be across two networks. You've got the main broadcast on main ESPN, and then you've got the Statcast alternate production, which was very popular last year on ESPN2 with Benetti and the guys, and a lot of data injected in that. I know you guys have put a lot of effort and coordination with Major League Baseball on the Statcast side to make especially that Statcast portion of it. The differentiated broadcast is obviously a company-wide initiative across many broadcasts and many sports properties. What makes this one unique, and why is this a good opportunity to really flex what you guys can see the potential being in an alternate broadcast?
Sure. I mean, look, I think anytime we do this, first of all, it's great to be working from a starting point of one of the highest-rated events we do all year, so you can really make a case. There are a lot of people out there, and if you can draw some of them over or draw some new people or get them to be invested in both broadcasts and watch for a longer period of time, you can see tangible success from it. And we've had over the years pretty consistently shown that with Statcast on our MLB coverage, which we've now evolved differently on the regular season, but still keeping it on the Home Run Derby. And to your point, Jason Petriello, now with Jess Mendoza, formerly with Eduardo Perez, have always done well. And I think just the main the main point is finding the separation, differentiation between the two broadcasts and providing, real visible clarity in how different it is. This is a challenging event in that way because we can clearly easily talk about it and analyze it differently. But the pace of the event is such, unlike, say, a regular season baseball game where you have discretionary time between each pitch, or at least between each batter. Here you have very, very little discretionary time because of the pace of the at-bats. So we've been pretty similar between ESPN and ESPN2 in terms of the visual coverage of the main Derby action portion until somewhat last year and even more aggressively this year. This year we are really shooting it considerably different on ESPN2. We're shooting every pitch pretty much from behind and slightly off to the hitter, whereas the main Derby coverage works from what looks like a center field angle, although it's actually behind the pitch, more behind, it's like closer to second base. And we've added layers of real-time augmented reality graphics to that angle. So you will see in real time augmented reality floating up sort of with the direction of the ball on the screen, exit velocity and launch angle as literally within a half second of the ball leaving the bat. At the same time, we'll have the distances down at the bottom. We also do it in a bit of a compression that we don't do on ESPN. And for the most part, the bottom of the screen has two graphic areas. One of them is a what kind of call like a checkerboard that just visually marks every home run as either a home run or a non-home run. And it's like a beautifully visual, simple way to see hot streaks and cold streaks, literally like a checkerboard kind of look with, red for home runs and blue for non-home runs. And then the lower right is kind of like a shot chart or a home run chart, obviously for baseball, that shows where all the home runs have landed. There are a couple of other wrinkles even beyond that I think are groundbreaking and noteworthy. Even though we're already in two boxes with lots of graphics, we have a capability to pop up another sort of pitch chart of where all the pitch locations have been. So that's another piece that we can use to kind of show whether the pitcher's hitting the batter's hot spot, which is certainly crucial to success in this event. And then I think the last or one more really major big piece that will not be a live component, but we are launching really into the first time into bat speed, which Statcast has begun collecting in LA and in Houston this year. So it's on a very limited basis where they have the upgraded Hawkeye 300 hertz camera systems in place. But it's allowing us to capture bat speed, and we've got a animated. It's interesting. We don't have the full volumetric animation of the player image and the bat tied together, but we do have like a three-dimensional animation of the bat with bat speed, with sort of a sweet spot component of where the ball hits the bat and how much does he optimize the exit velocity by hitting it on the sweet spot and stuff like that. So there's a pretty groundbreaking stuff in terms of the details of the 3D tracing that we're getting from Statcast, and then really new metrics in being able to begin to analyze bat speed. We've had a lot of exit velocity talk, and now we're moving into bat speed as well, so that's great.
Nice. It'll be really interesting to see how that plays on the broadcast. One last question before we let you go. You mentioned the pace, which has changed considerably over the past couple of years as the league changed the format. It used to be that a ball had to land before it hit in the outfield, before the next pitch could go. That changed, and that presented a significant challenge for the broadcast because that's a lot going on at the same time. Now, that being said, you, after having a long time in baseball, went over to X Games. So when you came back to baseball, you were like, I actually love this. So while it does present challenges, and you guys went with the split screen last year to kind of combat that, how has that sped up pace impacted the broadcast in your opinion?
Well, everything comes with priorities and trade-offs. We lose some player reactions. We lose a little bit of drama because, frankly, the ball's always, being thrown, being pitched, flying through the air. At the end of the day, you're creating entertainment and energy, action, and really, not to dive too deep into like the X Games background, but for 8 years of X Games, I literally studied our viewer ratings, minute by minute against every decision we made, and it is inevitable that aggressive, fast-paced action is a great way to retain viewers, keep viewers, grow viewers. So it creates challenges. I would say when we first went to this pace, we tried to cover it. The theory was that we would wait for a ball would land and we'd be able to get back for the next pitch. Obviously, it got fudged a little bit on that. They didn't perfectly wait for the ball to land, and even if they did, that definitively meant you never had time for a cutaway of anything, because you were literally going from a ball landing back to the next pitch, and in many cases the ball was already being hit anyway. So we went to the split screen. I think it gave a degree of calmness for the viewer, in the sense that the pitch swing side is almost never being cut, and you're just basically watching a guy like watching a guy at a driving range or whatever, just take his swings and see the pitches, and you never get confused, or get rushed in that. And again, on the other side, it can be certainly at times there's one ball followed by another, and you're seeing the bat hit the ball on the left, and you're cutting back, one ball's in the air, and you're cutting back for the next ball in the air. But when there is a ground ball or a pop fly or a pitch taken, at least you've got a moment now without confusing the viewer on the next pitch to be able to cut a teammate or a reaction or whatever else is on the side. So it does give us some freedom to capture the rest of the event. And then the other thing I would just note, all challenging, a lot of challenging stuff, but we moved up our pair of high home cameras that we try to go back and forth between taking because of the multiple balls in the air, and we move them super high because I just find that every time the ball gets above the plane of the sight line of the camera, like perspective begins to get lost. So we're trying to get up to at least the apex of the ball, and I think when you do that, you begin to have more feel for the distance and the direction, whereas when you start tilting up at balls, just like the same thing as when you watch tight golf shots or stuff like that, you have no real idea where the ball's going. So that's a pretty big change in the overall, the basic fundamental look of it as well.
Awesome. All right, Phil. Well, we appreciate the breakdown. Wish you and the team the best of luck, and thanks so much for taking the time. Always a pleasure to see you at this event.
No problem, Brandon. Thank you, and thank you guys at SVG. I appreciate it. All
right, for more of everything going on here at the Home Run Derby, the MLB All-Star Game, the entire MLB festivities, head on over to our site at sportsvideo.org.